Hey guys, this is Mr. Calzada. Like I promised you, I'm going to go over the assignment for math on page 15 and 16. I will be explaining to you all of the problems right now. Okay? So, you are supposed to be doing, again, you were supposed to be doing, again, page 15 and 16, 1 through 20. So, again, I'm going to explain the assignment to you, and I will be doing also the same thing for tomorrow's assignment, Tuesday's assignment. So, okay, so this is Monday's assignment, the one that we're supposed to do today. All right. So let me go ahead and get started with that. And we already went over number 1 and number 2, and I believe that we also went over number 3 as well, where we put in that expanded form into standard form, right? Number 4, it's asking you right there. It says the number 3 and 453,000 has two threes. Why does each 3 have a different value? Well, it's very simple. It's because the first 3 is in the ones place and the second 3 is in the thousands place. 3 has a value of 3 wholes, and 3 is 3 out of 1,000 pieces or parts. Number 5. It says Jose finished a race in 2 6/10 hours, and Pavel finished the same race in 2 16/100 hours. Which runner finished the race first? If you remember correctly in your instructions at the top, right here, right there, I'll show you real quick right there. Yeah, I mean 2.6 is exactly equal to 2.60. Just because you add that extra zero does not mean that they stop being equal. As a matter of fact, you can even say that 2 600 or 600,000 is equal to that as well. All right. Number 6. It says 6 through 8. Write each number in standard form. It says 2 6,000. I suggest that you use a place value chart for that real quick. You can see on mine. Since it says that there are 2, you see that there's an n. That means that is separating your whole numbers from your decimals. The 2 belongs in the ones place, and the last place there that's mentioned in that word form is thousands. So that means that I have to add my tenths, my hundredths, and my thousandths. I'm going to put my number in there, 2. The decimal is and it says 6,000. So you literally put the 6 in the thousands place. In the tenths and hundreds place, you put zeros, and that would be your answer for number 6. Okay. Number 7, it says again, put it in standard form. All you have to do is make sure that you add your numbers correctly and align them carefully, and your answer ends up being 3 and 309 thousandths. Remember, the 3 is in the tenth place and the 9 is in the thousandths place. You have no digit in the hundredths place, right? Okay, let me go ahead and erase that. Remember, you can always pause the video in case you need help, or if you forget something, or you need to just go back and review. So 9 and 20 hundredths, same thing. All you have to do is create a place value chart. I'm going to create it down here for you. And then again, you see that word n. That tells me that that's where the decimal goes. From there to the left, you have your whole numbers. And then to the decimal to the right is where you have your decimals. Another thing I want to look at carefully is that it says that it ends in the hundreds place. So with that in mind, I know that on the right side over here of my decimal, I'm going to go all the way to the hundreds place. So I'm going to put my tenths and my hundredths. And then, of course, I'm going to need my ones place. So that's 8. I'm sorry, it's not 8. It's actually, let me see where my eraser is. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to draw a line through it. I'm going to put 9 and 20 hundredths. 20. There it is. So your answer is 9 and 20 hundredths with your decimal in between. All right, let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to go to number instructions for 9 through 12. It says in 9 through 12, write 2 decimals that are equivalent to the given decimal. Okay, well, that should be a piece of cake as well. That's also equal. Let's take a 0 away. We could say that is equal to 2 and 20 hundredths. We can also take that extra 0 away, and we can say that is equal to 2 and 2 tenths. In the video that I added in today's assignment for August the 31st, you'll see that there's a video that discusses using blocks, right, to explain the value of decimals. Hopefully that will help. In number 10, you've got 8 and 1/10. All you have to do is just add extra zeros. 8.10 or 8 and 10 hundredths, and that is also equal to 8 and 100 thousandths. Number 11, 9 and 50 hundredths, that can be equivalent to 9.5 or 9 and 5/10ths, and that can also be equal to 9 and 500 thousandths. Number 12, 4 and 200 thousandths can be equivalent to 4 and 2/10ths, and that can also be equal to 4 and 20 hundredths. All right, let's move on. We're going to go on to page number 16, I believe. Yes, page 16, and we're going to do numbers 13 through 20 real quick. Number 20, it says the annual fundraiser goal of a charity is $100,000. So far, $63,482.50 have been raised. How much more money is needed to reach the goal? When it says that you want more money, that means that you haven't reached your goal. So you're going to make sure that hopefully you understand that this is a difference problem, right? This is the total that you need right there, and this is how much it has been raised so far. You still need a certain amount. So the way you do it is you simply find the difference. You align your numbers carefully. $63,482.50. and subtract 100,000 from that. I'm sorry, I did it backwards. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm thinking backwards. My apologies. So it's actually 100,000, which is the total. And then you're going to subtract $63,482.50. Over here at the top, obviously, you're going to add the cents on the side. And then, of course, it's just simply a matter of subtracting carefully. And your difference actually ends up being to $36,515.50. Okay? All right, let me go ahead and go on. Number 4 on the side, it says which point on the number line below represents 368 thousandths? Well, let's see. First thing I want to do is I gotta make sure that I have start off with 350 thousandths and it ends with 370 thousand. So I need to figure out how much am I jumping by. Well, in order for me to figure that out, I need to make sure that I figure out how many parts there are. I'm gonna see if I can make this bigger for you so you can see that. And I see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that means that each part has to be equal to, you're adding 1/1000th more each time. So that means that this would be equal to, let me see if I can write that in there. Make it a little bit bigger. Zoom in. No, I can't. That'll be good enough. It's 0.351 right there. This would be 352 thousandths, 353 thousandths, 354 thousand, 355 thousand, 356 thousand, 357 thousand, 358 thousand, 359 thousand, and 360 thousandths, where X is right there. And hopefully you'll understand that this would next line would be 361 thousandths, 362 thousandths, 363, 364. Y would be 365 thousandths. 366, 367 thousandths, 368 would be Z, 368 thousandths, 369, and so on and so forth. And then value for Y would be, well, you would move 2 backwards, and that value for Y would be 358 thousandths. So again, which one represents 368 thousandths? That would be letter Z. All right. Okay, let me go ahead and erase that. Let's move on to number 15 on this other side. And it says, how can you tell that 7 and 630 thousandths and 7 and 63 hundredths are equivalent? Well, besides the fact that those two or let's say besides the fact that it has that extra zero, which you can get rid of, right? 7 and 6300ths. You can actually get rid of that zero, and it ends up being the same, right? And of course, you can always draw it out. 6300ths is the same thing, or should be equal to 630 thousandths. And I wish I had enough space here to show you. I can't. It's just the space is limited. All right, but if I were to break this up into 1,000 pieces, all right, and let's say that this would be it, 1,000 pieces, and this one break it up into 100 pieces. Here, the shaded area, 630 pieces out of 1,000, would be equivalent to 63 pieces out of 100. If I broke this whole into 100 pieces and this one into 1,000, I guarantee you that 630 pieces out of 1,000 would be equal to 63 pieces out of 100. All right. Hopefully, when I come back, I can show you that. But remember, you have a video that will show you how decimals can be equivalent like that. Okay, let's go to 16. It says, in Justin's school, 825 thousands of students participated in a school sport. If there are 1,000 students in Justin's school, how many participate in a school sport? Well, again, let's just make sure that we read that carefully. It says, again, in Justin's school, 825 thousands of the students participate in a school sport. If there are 1,000 students in Justin's school, how many participate in school? Well, here's the deal, right? If you know that 820, let me go ahead and write that down as a fraction. That is like saying that 825 students out of 1,000 students participate, which is what the decimal represents. So it's kind of easy if you look at it that way. How many students participate in school sports? Well, that's easy. It's 825 out of those 1,000. All right. Let's move on to the next part. Number 17. It says, Maria incorrectly placed the decimal point when she wrote 65 hundredths of an inch for the width of her table or tablet computer. What is the correct number for the width? Well, if I zoom in a little bit in there and see if I can go in there, I can see that this would be 1 inch, this would be 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches right there, 5 inches, 6 inches, and then this is the halfway point between 6 and 7 inches right here. So that means that must be equal to 6.5 as a decimal, or 6 and 5/10, or the same thing as fraction as 6 and 5/10, which, if you saw in the video, that's actually equal to 6 and 1/2 when simplified. So therefore, the correct way to write this number is 6 whole inches and half of an inch, which is 5.5. All right, so that would be the correct way to write it down. Okay, let's move on. Let me go ahead and go to number 18. It says, extend your thinking. 3 boys cut out hundredths decimal models. 3 boys cut out hundredths decimal models. Derek does not shade any of his models. Ari shades half of one model. Wesley shades 2 models and 1/10 of another model. What decimal represents the amount each boy shades? Well, since Derek does not shade a model, Derek would be equal to 0, or 0.0. Ari, since Ari shades half of the model, well, what's half of this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully I'm doing that right. Half of that model, if you look at the longs, you have 5 longs out of 10, which is the same thing as 5/10 is the same thing as 0.5, 5/10. And then Wesley, it says that Wesley shades 2 whole models, so that means that 2 in the ones place and 1/10 of that, right? So if it's 1/10, it could be 2.1, or it could also be written as 2.10. Okay? All right. Let's move on to number 19. says Julia bought several large tomatoes at the farmer's market. The tomatoes measured 3 and 800 pounds on the farmer's scale. What is the value of the 8 in 3 and 800? Easy, just go ahead and set up your place value chart. Put your number inside with your decimal, 3, 0, and 8. Put the value at the top for each one. This would be your tenths, and this would be your hundredths, and this would be your ones. It's asking for the value of the 8, which means that that is in the hundred thousandths. The value of that is simply 0.08 or 8 hundredths. And in word format, it would be 8 hundredths. Like so. All right, hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's move on to the last one, number 20. It says Kay is buying juice at the market. She has $9 and each bottle of juice costs $2. The question is asking, does she have enough money to buy 5 bottles of juice? And tell. Okay? It says, so the answer would be no, she can't. Because there are 5 bottles. The 5 bottles would cost $10. Okay? She can only buy 4 bottles of juice. Remember, it says it right there. It says she has $9, but each one costs $2, and she wants to buy 5. Well, what's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. Does she have enough money to buy those bottles if they're gonna cost 10? The answer is no, because she only has $9. She can only buy 4 if you want to, because 2 times 4 is equal to $8. For that, she would have enough. Okay, well, that's the end of that lesson. Hopefully that'll help. Please make sure that you try your best on your math assignment for Tuesday. See you later.